Welcome back to the Seattle Emeralds, my NBA here, everybody. We are about to enter, or actually, we are officially in March of this season, and the Emeralds have quickly fallen out of the play-in tournament race completely. But we've got some good news. We're going to be re-signing a couple of guys who have been around with us since the expansion draft almost 2 seasons ago now. These guys have been playing a really good role. Unfortunately, Malik Monk, I feel like we could be in a better spot if he had been able to play most of this season. But I do like what he brings on the bench, and we're going to lock him up in a 2-year $10 million deal, or a 2-year $20 million deal, with a team option for a third additional year at $10 million. I think that's a pretty fair offer. He wasn't asking for more than that, but it just seemed like a fair offer for a guy like Malik Monk. I don't think he was gonna, realistically accept 5 years or $5 million. So we have him locked up now for 4 years. Now that doesn't mean he's got to be here for 4 years. We're just gonna have him on the roster and locked up contract-wise. But obviously, if we decide to make a trade, there's no restrictions as far as that goes. For Jalen Williams, we're gonna sign him for 2 years, $7 million. He's gonna show he will be locked up with a 1-year team option as well. So he's locked up for the next couple of years. And obviously, he's much younger than Malik Monk, so that deal makes a little bit more sense. Nobody else is able to even be re-signed right now. Today, we are going to take on a 1 seed. I wanted to play one of the best teams in the league because I'm like, why not? We're not making the playoffs. We're not making the play-in tournament. Why not play the 1 seed and see how we do against them? It would kind of give us a bit of a look into how this team could perform if we had made the play-in tournament and therefore went on a run to the playoffs. Right now, we sit at like 23 wins. We're still 6 games back from the 10 seed. So, I mean, it's not impossible with 23 games left, but it's very, very difficult. Basically, you have to consider the fact that the other teams are going to win games too. You have to just hope that they win 0 games in that run. Somehow the Bullets are, still doing good. I mean, they lose Joel Embiid after that big trade. They've got a 40 overall guy on their team. I don't know how he managed to make the roster at 24 years old, but he did. But they lost Joel Embiid, and they're still playing well. I mean, they're still the, 5th best team in the Eastern Conference. They're 5-5 in their last 10. We'll see how they go or how they do going forward if they're able to keep up the momentum that they had before trading for Joel Embiid, but they do have a much, much weaker roster. Thankfully, if we were in the Eastern Conference, I think we would be a little bit more competitive, but sitting in the Western Conference, it's very, very difficult to compete. And then right now, Jalen Williams, thankfully not the starting Jalen Williams. I guess he is starting now technically, but not J-Dub, but J-Will actually has a 4 to 6 week injury, so he will not be with us pretty much the rest of the season. And tonight, as we take on the 53-win Memphis Grizzlies, the #1 seed in the Western Conference, they have carved their place so far as the best team in the NBA, and they get a little bit of a break tonight. But hopefully your Emeralds can kind of push them and hopefully make this game interesting at bare minimum and give them a bit of a challenge, rather than letting them take a little bit of a break. Head coach Rajon Rondo maybe in danger of losing his job here after year 2. I think the expectations were a little high for this team coming into year 2. They definitely made some moves at the trade deadline that committed to a bad season, but I do still think they should have been much, much higher than the 14 seed, in my opinion. We'll see how they do going forward into the offseason and how the organization and general manager responds. But John Morant doing a bunch of dribble moves just to pass it away to Zach LaVine. He's going to let the first shot fly of the night, and he hits it. LaVine, not nearly as much of an offensive threat as he once was in Chicago, but he does still have that offensive talent. He just kind of takes a backseat ride when it comes to alongside Desmond Bane, John Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. as Ace Bailey gets the first bucket of the day for your Emeralds with that little floating mid-range jumper. Now pass around the ring. James Harden from 3. One of your newest Emeralds traded for him at the trade deadline. Bad contract, old, but he's still got some talent on the offensive side of the ball as he's got a quick 5 after the layup there. 7 to 6 now. GG Jackson can't get that one. It's going to be stolen out of the air by Bobby Portis. Driving ahead, kicks it to Ace Bailey, who's stripped by Desmond Bane. And right back the other direction, the Grizzlies go. They're one of the fastest teams in the NBA as usual. And they continue to run today out to a quick 10-9 lead. Jaren Jackson Jr. drives on Rondé Wood. Float game, no. Rondé Wood with a good contest as he is undersized, but he's got a good frame, and Ace Bailey gets past everyone in transition off of the miss. Able to get the layup to go 11-10. Rondé Wood erases the attempt from Ja Morant there. A weak layup attempt by Ja, and Rondé's able to deny him. Now 10-11. Still Bobby Portis with the layup, and Jaren Jackson Jr. draped all over him. A early three-point lead. This one's kind of back and forth early, and this one, Zach Edey. I mean, we're going to have a tough time stopping Zach Edey as we just do not have the size to match up with him. We'll see if the Emeralds try to do anything. Bobby Portis pump fakes, drives, kicks it. Harden looking again for three, and he gets it. So he's got 8 in the first quarter as the Beard trying to deliver that classic James Harden experience, but he gets dunked on by Morant. So I guess it is kind of the classic James Harden experience. Euro step, dunk right over Harden. I mean, defense has never been his strength, but that one was just a bad set there for James Harden. Jaren Jackson Jr. can't hit the three. It bounces in and out. Thought they were going to get a nice shooter's touch there after the bounce, but James Harden corrals it, kicks it to Ace Bailey deep from three, and he hits it. That was about, what, 3 or 4 steps behind the three-point line as the Emeralds are fighting with this Grizzlies team here in this first quarter. Knotted up 19-19. Zach Edey erases Ace Bailey, and Desmond Bane gets an open triple. I mean, that's a brick wall if I've ever seen it off of the screen. Isaiah Collier gives it to Kispert here to start the second quarter. And threes continue to rain down for both of these teams. Scottie Pippen Jr. now in the game. Zach Edey, a little floater right there in the middle of the paint. A good contest by Adem Bona, but like I said, we just do not have the height to compete with a guy like Zach Edey. But off to the races goes Jalen Williams. A quiet first quarter. He's able to get the dunk there in transition off of the free throw miss. Let's see if they can get him going. They try to get it back to him. Back-to-back buckets for J-Dub. And he's got a 5 here early in this second quarter. Scottie Pippen Jr. jumps in the passing lanes. He's one of those just gritty guys that gets in the paint and does a great job scoring. And Vince Williams taps it in. Nice layup or floater there from Ja over to Vince Williams. Corey Kispert looking for the other side. He hits it. This fast-paced game does not show any signs of slowing down. 45-38. Bobby Portis driving, backing down GG Jackson, and he gets the nice little hook game to go. Portis is probably one of our better post guys. Rondé Wood now in the corner. He is gassed, and he misses the mid-range jumper. They are content with leaving him wide open until he proves he can make those type of shots consistently as GG Jackson goes back the other way, extending the Grizzlies' lead now to 9. Johnny Furphy and Drew Carl now getting a little bit of run time. The backup third-string point guard and third-string small forward as Adem Bona finishes the alley-oop from Drew Carl on top of GG Jackson. And what a play that was. I mean, you're still trailing by 9. That's got to give you some momentum. Let's see if the Emeralds can turn it around here in this final minute. Bobby Portis, the mid-range jumper, is good. Portis, after his first season out of Milwaukee, has been very disappointing, but today he's doing well with 11. Back in the starting lineup after the injury to Jay Will, as we see another 3 from Jaren Jackson Jr. It's an 11-point game. James Harden, waning seconds of the quarter, hits the 3. And the Beards got 11 in the first half, so we are still competitive here, down by 8 going into this third quarter. As a miss by Rondé Wood, he is struggling. He's got 4 points and 5 rebounds, but a couple of blocks that have been pretty good. Now Ja Morant drives and throws it down on top of Ace Bailey. Why even contest that one if you're not going to commit? Because you know Ja Morant, he's either going to have the greatest miss poster or he's going to throw it down. A steal by Triple J gives it ahead to Morant now as the Grizzlies kind of slow it down. Morant's going to drive past Harden. One-on-one and another slam by Ja. He's got 19 on the afternoon, making it 90 or 65 to 56. It's a 9-point game continuously. The Emeralds can't get it much closer than that. No, Bobby Portis open corner jumper is good. Portis with 14 on the day. Probably his best game as an Emerald so far after a disappointing season overall. Ja Morant gathers step. Harden sagged off of him, and Morant answers. Anything you can do I can do better. John Morant is basically saying that to this entire team as J-Dub, the size up three won't go. Bad possession there for the Emeralds without much ball movement. Zach LaVine drives. LaVine kicks it, lobs it to Morant, and throwing it down again. He's got about 4 dunks already in this third quarter as that lead stays at 9. The Grizzlies can't really expand on it, but we're not able to cut it. Zach LaVine gets open for a split second, and he just does not take a lot of shots, but when he does, they are high-quality shots as that lead is now 10 for the Grizzlies. Here in the final 2 minutes of the quarter, J-Dub, Zach Edey ISO ball. He's a little too quick to him, driving to the basket, layup on the scoop, and score. As J-Dub is able to get past Zach Edey, cutting it down now as Santi Aldama, Santi Claus hits the 3. The Grizzlies respond again, a 9-point game. Hugh Hawkins, the newest Emerald from Denver, playing some of his first meaningful minutes for the Emeralds, gets that bucket to go now. Final seconds of the third. Vince Williams scores. Mid-range jumper to extend the lead to 10 as we head into the fourth. 82-72. Zach Edey being guarded by Kelly Olynyk, one of the other members that were included in that trade for James Harden. Aldama gives it to Keon, who swings it to Vince Williams. Contest was there, but just another tough shot for the Grizzlies. Isaiah Collier rips it away on the next defensive possession. Good job there from Collier. Can they get anything out of this? J-Dub pump fakes, gets Edey in the air, driving, wide open basket. He dunks it with one hand. Jalen Williams, quiet in the first, but he has opened it up here in the second and third. He now has 16, but this time he's throwing it away. Zach Edey, or no, that was Santi Aldama who gets it, and Santi Aldama finishes it in the other direction, giving the Grizzlies a 14-point advantage. James Harden trying to cut into this lead. Harden screen from J-Dub. Three-pointer is good from Harden. 16 on the afternoon. The Beard doing everything he can on offense, but not on defense as Ja, the and one opportunity. Rondé Wood tried to come over and help, and the dunk goes down. Missed free throw, but Triple J, just the size advantage is too good for the Grizzlies right now as their lead has now ballooned to 16 here in this third quarter. About 5 minutes to go. Malik Monk trying to cut into it. He gives them a 3 there on offense. Ja Morant driving, deflected by Harden. Ja Morant goes down, holding his knee, and this is not a good sign for the Grizzlies as the 1 seed. You better hope it's not very serious, but we still got 5 minutes to go in this one. Can the Emeralds take advantage of that injury and make a run? Zach LaVine, Euro step, and one opportunity. No Ja, no problem for the Grizzlies. LaVine picks up right where Ja Morant left off, and it is now a 103-90 ball game. This is your final 4 minutes to come back. J-Dub out to Malik Monk. Another 3 from Monk is good. And that one brings it back to 10. Trying to throw it ahead of the court is Scottie Pippen Jr. It's intercepted by Ace Bailey, and Pippen trying to guard Bailey. Bailey pump fakes. Floater is good. He had 8 in the first quarter, and he has 12 on the afternoon. That is not a great output for Ace Bailey, but he's coming back here in this fourth quarter. G.G. Jackson for 3, no good. 103-95 is where this lead stands. It's an 8-point ball game. Ace Bailey drives it coast to coast, and he throws it down. G.G. Jackson not having a great game. About the 3rd poster he's been involved in. Desmond Bane on the other side answers, trying to keep this lead after Ja Morant, who is dominating this Emeralds defense, goes down, but the Emeralds are responding point for point. The Grizzlies now 108-99. After the bucket from Portis, Jaren Jackson Jr. tries to bring it up the court. Adem Bona locking him up. Adem Bona's going to strip it from Triple J and throwing it down. Adem Bona forces the 9th turnover of the night for the Grizzlies, and he gets the 13th point off of it. Triple J now, the next possession can't finish. He's kind of fumbling here at the finish line. James Harden trying to slow it down. Let's get into offense. Down by 7. Going to J-Dub. Who do you think takes the shot here? J-Dub gets a screen from Bona. Mid-range jumper. Good contest. Bona with the board. Bona throws it down. Makes it a 5-point game as the Emeralds have slowly but surely cut into that lead. And it is now just a couple of possessions. Triple J gives it to G.G. Jackson. He gets his revenge, sort of. Not nearly as violent as a few of the other ones. But they take a 7-point lead as we're now in the final minute. But Ace Bailey's going to respond with a clutch 3, making it 6 points now. 112 to 106, 45 seconds to go. Bobby Portis almost stolen. Jaren Jackson's in the passing lanes. They go to Bona. Pump fake. Bona's going to throw it down again. I mean, why have we not been playing him more? Now 25 seconds to go. It's a 4-point ball game. Harden's going to strip it away from Jaren Jackson Jr. Down by 4. Harden, not the shot you want, and he can't hit it, and they're going to have to foul. James Harden, I mean, he must have thought this was his MVP year because he pulled up immediately after getting the steal. Nobody else was even on that side of the court. Levine does miss another free throw. Jaren Jackson Jr. puts it in, and that's probably the dagger. What a way to lose off of a very early 3 and a missed free throw turned into a layup. The Grizzlies get it off of the miss, and an anticlimactic ending to this slow burner as the Emeralds, I mean, you had to feel like they had all the momentum in that world. And if there was just 1 or 2 more minutes on this board, that might have been going the other way. And that's saying something when you're playing the #1 team in the Western Conference. But even without Ja Morant, who has now been reporting with a knee injury, he has, went down and is probably going to miss a couple of weeks. So that could impact their playoff games, at least in the first round. We'll see. We'll keep in contact with them and see how Ja Morant ends up playing or feeling as we get closer to the playoffs. But I mean, the Grizzlies just have an all-around stacked roster. They just know how to hit shots. I mean, they didn't even play Jalen Wells, and he's a 77 overall with a 84 3-ball and some good just athleticism and defense. I mean, that's crazy to me that they're this good and they don't even have to play Jalen Wells or Keon Johnson or Gustavo Nanali, the newest rookie. Chip Jenkins, another rookie they had in the first round, who's really good from the offensive side of the ball. He's got to improve that defense a little bit. I mean, we had an all-around, just well-rounded game from our guys. 18, 17, 17, 16. 6 guys in double digits. Corey Kispert was a point away with 9. Adem Bona, really liked what I saw from him down the stretch there. I don't know why we hadn't been playing him more. I mean, he was kind of buried behind Goga Badatse and Rondae Wood. And, going into next year, he's probably going to get a bigger role as we prepare for the offseason. We're looking like we're going to end up being about the 15 seed or the 14 seed. The Suns, thankfully, missing Devin Booker for most of the season, have really taken that final seed. He did tear his ACL, so he has been out for a long time. I believe he played about 40 games. So he was probably in 16 of their 16 wins. I don't know how many they've won since he went down. And on the other side of things, the Atlanta Hawks are looking like the worst. But thankfully, we're right now 14 or 15. So we're going to have a solid pick, hopefully, in this offseason. I don't know where we're going to go, really. I don't think this draft is like a solidified #1 guy that's going to come in and solve any problems that this franchise has, even if we have the #1 overall pick. And we're probably looking more at the 6 to 7 range, but we will get a little bit more of an overlook into the draft in next episode. We'll also go through the playoffs in next episode and give a little bit of a season recap as we head into off-season #3 here for the Seattle Emeralds, and let's try and hopefully compete for the playoffs next year. That is all for this episode. I hope you all did enjoy this basically season finale. See you all next time. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you did enjoy. Adios.